Hey, my name is Kirk Stewart. I'm the CSO of SW North America out of New Hudson, Michigan. So today I'm here at the Eastern States Exhibition in West Springfield, Massachusetts, and I'm going to show you a little bit about our machine that we have on display and some of the parts that we focus on here at SW North America. So let's come and take a look at the machine. The machine we've got today is our BA322i machine. 3 in that it's 300 millimeters between our two spindles. Two spindles, that's right, we do cutting of two parts simultaneously. 2 because we have two spindles, and 2 because we have two tables. And the combination of this configuration allows us to be having double the output, if not more, in a much smaller floor space than what two traditional single spindle machines would be, saving energy consumption, floor space, everything else that goes along with it. So let's go take a look inside the machine area. So from the machine side, we have the spindles on the work envelope cutting two parts at the same time. That means the same exact processes on spindle 1 and spindle 2. All this work that's being done on the table and the work envelope is done in parallel with the load and unload on the front. And that's a real big benefit of the SW solution, having two tables. The table that's in the work area, again, is table A, and this table on the exterior part of the machine is available for load-unload. That load-unload can be done manually, that load-unload can be done with a robot, that load-unload can be done with a gantry. Whatever it may be, a man, automated, very easy to do. The benefit of the table on the outside is that it's also my fourth axis. My fourth axis allows for very easy loading, kind of like a vertical machining center where you can load your parts into a flat surface. Very, very comfortable for the operator. That being said, sometimes you want to rotate your table 15 degrees, 30 degrees, whatever's most comfortable for the operator and also the robot. You have gravity working for you. A lot of times it can be beneficial to lay that flat or at a specific angle. So on these tables, we also have our fifth axis. The fourth axis is our starting point. SW offers no simple 3-axis machines, rather starting with the fourth axis. And as you'll see, we have on top of our fourth axis, in this case, dual 5-axis satellites. So for us to go from a 4-axis machine to a 5-axis machine is very, very easy, very little reconfiguration of the machine, and easy add-on without changing the general configuration of the machine. So going back to the automation, this is a 322i. The I stands for integrated automation. In this case, we have a Fanuc robot hanging, and you can see that in a normal environment, the door would be closed. But in this case, we're just showing how you could load the parts manually into the machine very easily. So on the left-hand side of the machine, we have several trays. We have about a dozen trays, about yay big, let's say 12 inches by 24, and that allows us to load in all of the raw material into these trays. So 12 trays ranging from 4 parts for the larger size components up to 24 components gives our customers the opportunity to operate much more lean. Why lean? Because you're basically running lights out. You load all the raw parts in and you run automatically lights out. We have one customer here in New England which has 12 of these machines. They have one operator. It means one operator is tending 24 spindles in a lights out production environment. So very beneficial. All right, so some of the parts that we're showing here at the show today, not necessarily going on the 322i machine, but parts that are common for SW are shown here. So historically, we are a very heavily automotive company. Why automotive? The productivity of machines is very much in demand for those high volume applications, and our machine is built to run those very tight tolerances on a reliable basis on a 24/7 type environment. So there's a lot of talk of the electrification of our automotive business right now, which on the traditional internal combustion engine side has really been a reduction of investment and a pause, if nothing else, in the powertrain systems and an increase in the investment in battery type applications. So in this case, we have a battery tray which is going into a BMW vehicle. There's a left and a right and a top and a bottom, so 4 of these die cast components per set. And we do these actually on a single spindle machine, but gives all the same benefits of what you saw in the 322i. You load on one side and you do the machining on the other. You flip that Q-axis in about 3 seconds and off to the races you go. So from the productivity standpoint, that spindle is always turning, with the exception of that Q-axis. Means your investment in that very capital intensive piece of equipment, it's always being used. So very, very fast processing. The other thing about this component is it's aluminum die cast, as you'll see with the other components as well. Aluminum is very important for electrification. There's a lot of lightweighting going on with the change of iron and steel to aluminum. If you're lighter, you're more efficient, means you get more range on your vehicle. So a lot of changes in the industry. So where SW comes to play, and what we have a really good solution for, are linear motor machines. Rather than ball screw type systems, which are the industry standard, linear motors give us the possibility to go faster at 120 meters per second, gain a few microns on precision, but most importantly, eliminate that ball, screw, and nut contact and go to a contact-less drive system. From a maintenance standpoint, your uptime of the machine increases significantly. So some of the other components that we do really well, aluminum control arms, aluminum knuckles, very important for the chassis system, and this is unaffected by the change to electrification, other than the migration to more aluminum components, which again is very good for SW and the linear motor technology we have. Forged conrods, especially in the over-the-road truck on the diesel side and the power gen. You know, these types of components are not going away anytime soon. Still going to be used on traditional fossil fuel type applications. Brake calipers, again, you still have to stop your vehicle one way or the other. And braking components, chassis components, very important for the sustainability of the automotive business. So one of the components that we're running on the BA322i here at East Tech were medical components, more specifically components for knee replacements. Here in the U.S., you know, it's a huge market as we have an aging population, as we have very good health care here in the U.S. So the medical industry is very important to SW. So these components that we're running, knee implates, we also do very well in tibial inserts. And these components are very precise, different materials, PEEK, other plastics, if you will. Not necessarily in the metal cutting space, but likewise require very good surface finishes and have very tight tolerances. Other components that we do in the medical side of things are on the forceps. You know, anything that's in the operating room is disposable, means that it's high volume from our perspective, and we're looking for those volume parts. Anything that you need a lot of and are always consumable, that's where SW steps up to the plate. Other components that we do in the medical space are bone plates. You know, anytime you break that leg really badly or that wrist, you need a bone plate to hold everything back together. You get into the titanium materials, again, very tight tolerance and surface finishes, but high volume, thus the dual spindle from SW makes a lot of sense for our medical customers out there. All right, well, thanks for joining us here at East Tech 2023. You can learn more about SW at sw-machines.com.